Huh? Oh. There we go. Okay, I promise this should be the last interruption. My it kicked me out because it said Zoom needed to restart itself before I could share my screen. Yeah.
Twice I got kicked out, but okay.
Well, you're back in.
Yes, I'm back in, but then I know you, so I know how it goes.
So I so here's the thing, right? The computer that I'm on right now, my MacBook, I downloaded Zoom today because I use Zoom a lot, but I don't use it with my MacBook. This MacBook, I open it up, it's strictly for editing. It has nothing else on it except editing tools. I don't use it for any other purpose. So this is actually the first program that's not an editing program that's actually being loaded onto the Mac. And I do that to keep it running smooth, to keep it running fast. So I did not expect all these interruptions.
Can I just
Um,
say you look better on this though than on the other one?
then, oh yeah, well, I guess it's the camera, right?
That's all. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, the other one doesn't kick us out all the time. All right, so if you can open up DaVinci Resolve, and I'm gonna say this anyway because it's just part of the protocol. I am not by any means a claimed professional. I'm just merely going to be sharing with you what I do and what works for me. I'm not world renowned or anything like that. So yeah, don't expect what should I say? World class advice over here. Right. So with that out of the way, I should also say that before we get started officially, that a hyperlapse is just a collection of photos. That's all it is. It's the drone taking multiple photos and then we edit the photos, right? Now, normally if you ask a real hyperlapse professional, they will tell you that the somebody's I'm gonna have to
Or something.
yeah, okay, it's David's camera. Vincent, somebody else is coming in. Now, if you ask a real professional, they will tell you that when you take the raw photos with your drone, you are supposed to take those photos. You're supposed to take those photos and put it into a program like Lightroom and edit one photo on Lightroom. And then when you're finished editing that photo on Lightroom, then you apply the editing to all the photos in Lightroom because Lightroom is a photo-centric app. It's made for photography and for photographers. So that is the ideal tool for hyperlapse, being that a hyperlapse is a collection of photos. It's not really a video, right? So that's the way the professionals do it. What I have found is that, well, I want to skip that step. I don't want to open Lightroom, edit one photo, take that editing and paste it to all the photos so all the photos get edited the same, and then take all of those photos and import it into DaVinci. I didn't want to do that. So what I came up with is a way that I could bring all the photos into DaVinci and edit it as a video. Now, does it look as good as editing in Lightroom? Well, it depends on who you ask. If you ask a seasoned photographer, they might say no. If you ask the average guy on social media, Facebook and Instagram and those places, they probably won't even notice the difference, right? The other thing that I found is the hyperlapse moves so fast. It's just not one still photo, it's multiple still photos. So because it moves so fast, it's hard for someone to depict where I edited or how detailed the editing really is. It's very difficult. So I find that I get away with a lot. I find that it looks, in my opinion, just as good as if it was edited on Lightroom, right? Now, one thing is for sure, it will stand out when you're done editing these photos in DaVinci, and it will look different from anything that DJI normally gives you. Now, if you have DaVinci Resolve, please open it up and I'll share my screen with you so I can show you the process here.
One quick question. Does it matter what version of DaVinci you have? I've got 18. That was the latest download that I found.
Well, it shouldn't in theory, because 18 should have more features. I'm still using 17.4 because the only reason I didn't upgrade to 18 is because I have no need for it. And I like to give programs as long, as much time as possible to work out all the bugs and kinks. I do have some friends who are on 18 and they don't have any problems with it, and it works just as good as 17. So I'm gonna go with shouldn't be a problem. Curtis asked, can I transfer waypoint settings from Aries, I guess it means Air 2S, to Mini 3? No, waypoints are not transferable. Right, waypoints are not transferable. It stays on each drone. And the main reason is, even though the platform is the same, the coding is the same for the waypoints, the cameras are different, and the cameras are coded different because each drone that comes out has a different code for the camera, because the camera will either have more specs and ability and less specs and ability. And then when you have drones like the Mini 3 that has a 4-axis gimbal, that needs a completely different code from a drone that has a 3-axis gimbal like the Air 2S. So absolutely not. It's not transferable. Right? Good. So I'll share my screen and open up DaVinci Resolve. There you go. When you open up DaVinci, you should be able to see my screen. Sure, I can see everybody. There we go. I'm going to share the entire screen, not just the. There you go. That's better.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, David?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
I'd like to, I drop my photos into my timeline, and it looks like this. You see that? It looks like this.
No, we can't see your screen. We can hear you.
Oh,
But if you can tell me, what are you seeing? A bunch of photos in the timeline?
Okay. No, okay. Once you put it in the timeline, it's just a little blue mark that represents the what I've drugged down. Just a little skinny blue mark.
Right. Well, can you expand the timeline?
That's what I'm trying to do. Those are the things I don't know how to do yet.
Okay,
We didn't get there.
so
We didn't get there
we
yet.
didn't get there. We're getting there. We're getting there, David. All right, good. So now the DaVinci is open. Now, normally you would want to click on utility project, right? That I have here in red, because you have to set up the project to receive hyperlapses, right? So double click on that. And I'm going to click here. I have something called Hyperlapse 25 FPS. Mine is already set up. And I'm just going to show you my settings so that you can set your project up to that really fast, right? So you click on here, utility project, and open up that. Good. As soon as that opens up, right? And if I'm going too fast and I'm leaving you behind, just stop me, because I have a tendency to move fast sometimes. It's not like a YouTube video. You can pause it. Just stop me right there. Just tell me, hold up, you're moving too fast. I'll slow down. Click on File right here. And come to Save Project As, not Save Project, but Save Project As. That's very important, right? Click on that, and it'll ask you what to save the project as. I recommend you save it as Hyperlapse 25 FPS, right? Not copy. You don't need to put copy. I've already saved mine. The reason why I'm asking you to save it like this is because every time you go to open up or to go to edit a hyperlapse, all you have to do is click on what we're about to set up right now, which is going to be save this hyperlapse 25 FPS. And then you can start bringing your hyperlapse in, boom, 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 and working on it. Right? So once you've typed in, if you want to name it something different, that's fine too. Right? Is somebody asking a question? Because I think everybody's muted, so you'll have to unmute if you want to say something, because I won't be able to hear you. But I see mouths moving. Okay, good. So I'm gonna move on if no questions. So make sure you hit save. I'm not gonna say hit save because I've done it already, but you should hit save. Now that you've hit save, we come back to the file menu over here, and we hit project settings. That's very, very important. Project settings. So you hit project settings. And there's a whole menu here that you can scroll through. You can see capture and playback, camera raw, all of that stuff. The main thing I want to focus on is the master settings. Your master settings should be 3840 by 2160. That's your timeline resolution, right? And it's for 3840 by 2160 processing. You might have to type that in, and this is important. The 3840 by 2160 processing is what
Hang on, I can't get the 3840.
you have to type
Oh,
it
there
in.
it is.
Yeah.
Okay, now I got it.
Yeah. You might have to type that in, but that's important because when you hit export and you make that hyperlapse, it's going to make it in 3840 by 2160, which is 4K. And you want that 4K hyperlapse because you went out and shot 4K raw files. And those 4K raw files, yep, are going to look beautiful.
X, isn't that also dependent on which drone you are using?
Well, as far as I know, all the DJI drones that shoot hyperlapse, starting with the Mavic 2 Pro, all of them have the ability to shoot 4K hyperlapse. So unless you're using a really old drone.
No, what I'm using though is a drone that can shoot 5K hyperlapse.
Which drone is that?
Mavic 3. You saying it can't do 5K?
I'm not aware of that, but if it can, that's awesome.
Okay, I would have to check. Okay, let's continue.
Yeah, well, we can always change that to 5K in the future if it does shoot 5K hyperlapse.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, but the 4K will still look good. All right. So aspect ratio remains square, and this is important. Playback frame rate must be at 25. Now I know this is odd. This sounds crazy because everybody's gonna say, "Oh, don't we shoot at 4K 30? Oh, don't we shoot at 4K 60?" And those are the general frame rates. Yes, those are the general frame rates, but guess what? DJI's output files and Autel, if you're shooting with an Autel too, Autel's output files are at 25 frames a second for their hyperlapses. So if you put anything other than 25 FPS, it will not come out good.
X, I got a quick question. I can't remember what I set it at. I don't remember if it was set at 30 or 25 or 24. I really can't recall.
Well, aren't you there? Can't you see? Is your computer
yeah,
on?
I'm here, but I mean, I don't know where to look.
Oh, can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, so let me go over it again. I'll show you. Just go to top here to file and come down to project settings. Boom.
Oh no, I have it. I'm talking about the drone when I recorded the hyperlapse video.
Oh, you don't have a choice.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. First of all, the drone doesn't record a hyperlapse video. It records hyperlapse photos.
Photos, right.
But it codes the photos in a 25 FPS format for DaVinci and all editing products. Yeah. Okay, so you have your playback set here, right?
That's correct.
That's great. Yeah. So once I show you this and you set it to this, all you have to do is open this file anytime you want. That's pretty much it, right? The rest of the stuff it's important, but not really that important. I'll come down here on master settings, image, color manage. That's the other thing I want you to change because most of us are going to be sharing this on or smartphones or tablets or laptops. Make sure that your color science is DaVinci YRGB color manage. And even if you're using an Autel, you're probably saying you're not using YRGB, you're using RRYB sensor. It doesn't matter, it'll still work.
I'm looking
Um,
for
your-
color manager. I don't see it.
Master settings, image scale, color manage. It's the third one to the left column here. Master settings. There you
Image-
go.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah, DaVinci YRGB.
Okay, great.
Yep, and make sure your color processing mode is in HDR. And make sure your output color space is SDR Rec 709.
Well, I see no LUTs selected. Have you finished making up your LUTs?
Yes, all my LUTs are finished and they're packaged, ready to sell. My only thing that I'm working out right now is whether I'm going to sell on Amazon or Etsy or Patreon, or I'm trying to set it up on Amazon because most people shop on Amazon. And it's a process. So I'm setting it up there. I should be finished that this week, and then I'll shoot the video that says, hey, basically my LUTs are here and here's how you use them. So within the next 2 weeks, but the LUTs are done.
Any kind of a hand of a price?
My go-to price is $49. That's where I'm pricing it at.
Oh, awesome. Cool.
Yeah, and there's 3 packs there. There's the night LUTs, there's my signature LUTs, and there's some extreme LUTs to give you some really weird looks if you're into that kind of stuff. All right.
What was
Yeah,
the HDR?
I
What was
got
the HDR setting?
The HDR, it's under here, under color management, color science, color processing mode, output color space. You see color processing mode there, it's set to HDR. You have options, only SDR, HDR. Make sure you choose HDR.
So
You
I'm
only
not
get,
fine.
you only
on
get it,
color space.
you only get HDR if you set automatic color management.
Yes, you have to click this box here, it says automatic color management.
Okay, there we go.
All right, I'm moving on. You should be hitting save at the bottom here. If you don't hit save,
X,
it's
real
not
quick,
gonna
I'm
save.
I don't mean to be a thorn in everybody's side, but I'm not finding the HDR setting. Like I'm on color management. I have it set up DaVinci RGHB or YRGB.
Correct. Automatic color manage, clicked onto that, checked onto that. You have the check box.
No,
No,
check the box.
it says use separate color space and gamma.
Go
Did
above.
you do the YRGB color managed or just the RGB color or just the RGBY? There's 2 different versions of
I
it
don't have
there.
my color manager. There we go. That was it.
Yeah,
Thank you guys. I'm sorry.
no problem. Click automatic color manage, automatic color management as well, and then you should be able to hit HDR.
Yeah, I got
Once
it.
you've got that, you should be able to hit save. Make sure that you hit save. Right? Once you hit save, I'm gonna hit cancel because mine's saved already, but you should hit save. Now, when you hit save, close DaVinci, exit out so I can show you something, how to operate from here on out. So let's close DaVinci. Now, you're gonna reopen DaVinci again. And you should see it here. It says Hyperlapse 25 FPS or whatever you named it. Now, this part's very important because what I want you to do with this here as Hyperlapse 25 FPS is to be your template. I don't want you editing on this. I want this to be your template. So when you click on this, which is your template, now you will hit file and you will hit save project as and name it. In this case, I will name mine mini because I used the mini 3 Hyperlapse day to night. Mini 3 hyperlapse day to night. And then I'll hit save. I mean, you don't have to name yours that. You can name it whatever you want. Air 2S, Mavic 3, Hotel Light, hyperlapse, and then hit save. So what this does now is leaves my template as hyperlapse 25 FPS and creates a new file for me to edit on. Right. So now if I click home at the bottom right over here, see where my mouse is hovering. If I hit the home button, I will see that my hyperlapse 25 is still here. That's my template that I can use to open anytime I want to do any hyperlapse. And in the top left here, I have the mini 3 hyperlapse day to night, which will be the folder that I'm going to be doing the editing in right now. So I'm just going to hit close, right? As long as you always remember to do that, you will always have a template anytime you're ready to go to do hyperlapses. And people ask me, how do I churn out hyperlapses so fast? It's because I always have my template there. And every time I bring the files in, I always make a new folder or a new system. Good. Now under master, right? I will delete these. These are just the way I do it. Let me delete that. Bin. Yours should look like this now. Remove bin. Master. That's it. And you have your timelines over here. I'll remove this too. Yours should look like this. Shouldn't even, it should look plain. Plain as day. So there you go. So what I like to do, I like to make sure that I right click over here, or however, if you're on a Mac, maybe 2 fingers down is the right click. And I
Do you have 2 seconds to help us get my DaVinci to look like yours?
oh, okay.
My master's a big box, and then yeah, it looks like what
Like
what you
this?
just
At the
yeah.
top here, there's like a little, see that? Yeah,
Uh-huh.
just click that and your master should, just click on that icon. It's like a book at the top left. See, I'm clicking on it.
Yeah,
Right.
Did you get it?
yeah, mine's just blank. It doesn't say master, it just goes blank.
Yeah, did you click on this little book here?
Yeah,
It's still
yeah,
going blank?
Yeah, I went from having Macintosh HD, all my different drives, my Mini 3 and storage, and then when I click on the thing, it goes to nothing.
Are you on Media Pool?
Yeah.
What about this? You're on,
Media
yeah.
pool on my media storage.
That's weird. Which DaVinci are you on? Do you know?
18.
I'm on 18.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm 18.
I'm not sure if that's an 18 thing.
It probably is.
It probably is,
Okay.
yeah. So anyway, I'm going to, if yours is looking like this, then
That's
I
what mine
guess,
looks like.
yeah. You can still right click on it and hit new bin.
Okay.
Boom. And then
If
bin
you're on
1 should
18,
come up.
if they're on 18X, have them look below and see if master's there. On my 18, master is underneath, below, in the lower half of the screen.
Yeah. Well, you can still do it like this too. Fine. I'm gonna do it like how yours is.
Okay, now, and I don't have anything in my master bin.
Yeah, right click on it. Right click in the big space and just hit new bin.
Okay.
And then you'll see bin 1 come up. Rename that. Rename that bin. I'm a little, you don't have to organize like me, but this is just the way I do things because I like organization. But I put day raw photos. Boom. Day raw photos. And then I right click again. And I hit new bin. And I name this one night raw photos. Why do I do that? Because I don't want to mix up the day photos with the night photos, right? So you don't have to go extreme like me. You can just name it day. You can and then name one night, or you can name it mini 3 day, mini 3 night, whatever works for you, day and night, that's fine, right? So Just stop me if I'm going too fast, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
click on,
I'm still getting caught up on this media. I don't have the I
did you
can't
right?
get, yeah, I right clicked it and nothing happens when I right click it. I have
Are
to
you
bring
on
it
a
all
Mac
back.
or PC?
Mac?
Mac, I think it's 2 fingers you hit on the touchpad is a right click. You tap 2 fingers on the touchpad. That should, that's,
Yeah, I'm not getting it. When I do that, nothing comes up, period. It's like, it's not even an option to add anything.
okay, you should still be able to do it manually. If you go to file and hit new bin, look at me. I go to file and
Mhm.
I hit new bin.
Okay,
Right,
new
you
bin
should be
doesn't
able-
light up on mine, but let me pull this. I did file new bin. Yeah, new bin won't even light up. It's crazy.
New bin won't light up.
Yeah, it's shaded, meaning like
Or
it's
you-
not an option to hit.
Maybe you should close out of it and reopen the app all over again.
All right.
Yeah.
Might be an idea.
Yeah.
I'm just saying on 18, it's on the bottom, not the top.
What's at the bottom, Irving?
The same, the master bin is on the bottom.
Oh,
Underneath the window. That's what I was trying to explain.
oh,
And
so
there's 2 fingers on the left side of the Mac, and that's going to open up. That's your right click.
yeah,
But everything that you have on the top on 18, it's on the bottom, except
bottom.
the center screen. And
okay,
it says master down there. All you have to do is be on the media tab, which is the first tab at the bottom.
Now my favorites.
I'm not sure
Oh,
why you see
now-
my favorite. You're in
now,
the wrong
if-
area.
look, at the bottom here, I should have showed you this. There's media, there's cut, there's edit. I'm in the edit tab. The media tab looks like this. The edit tab looks like this. And the cut tab looks like this. And the edit, I'm in the edit, should say edit. So first, second, third one. That's probably why you're not seeing it.
Right. When you go to edit, then it pops up to the top.
Yes,
And
that
our
was my
screen-
fault. I should have mentioned.
And on
edit
this,
tab.
our screens look identical now, 18 and
Yeah, you
yours.
know what the thing is with me? I do most of like 95% of my editing from the edit tab. So everything I save, when I save my templates, I save it in the edit tab. So it automatically opens up there. But a lot of people prefer the cut tab. A lot of people prefer the media tab, but I go straight to the edit tab because I can do 90% of stuff I can do in here.
Yeah, I like the edit tab. It looks good, a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah, it just has everything I need. Where is the gentleman? What's his name? Where'd he go?
Who, me?
No,
No.
You looking for
other-
David? No,
Huh?
David?
no, not you, David, the other
No,
gentleman that
the
was
other
having a
gentleman
problem.
that's- Yeah. Let me see if he's.
Somebody have noise coming in on their mic.
I'm not sure what happened there. Let me see if he's in there. Maybe he quit by mistake. All right, well, in the meanwhile, while we wait for him, let me just share back my screen. Let's go to the next step. Good, now that everybody can see my screen, I like to double click on the day. And that puts me in the day bin. So right now I'm in the day bin. Right, and I will right click on the day bin and hit import media. Bang, import media. Now that depending on if you're using Windows or depending on if you're using a Mac, this is where you have to bring in all the photos that your drone took in the daytime. All right, so for me, I know where I stored my files. I keep all my files on this social media, Mini 3. I don't know where you stored your files for that you took your photos, but wherever you took it, go to it. And I think I have here Hyperlapse, raw photos, and I have here Mini 3D. Somebody's, yeah, there you go. I have mini 3D raw photos, so I'll click on that. And I have all my daytime raw photos here, and I'll highlight all 300 photos. A lot of photos. If you have Windows, you can hit Control A and it highlights all for you. Mac doesn't. You literally have to highlight them all. I don't know why it does this for DaVinci, but that's just the way it is. I've learned to live with it. I watch it count all the way to 300, 299. There you go. There you go. I got all highlighted from 29 all the one all the way to 229, and I click open. Boom. That's where the magic happens, because when you click open, DaVinci takes all the photos for you, all 300 photos, or how much ever you took, and turns it into a video. Now, if yours did not, and it actually opened up 300 photos, let me know, because we'll have to fix that.
So I went through and kind of edited the hyperlapse data night in Dissolve before, and chopped a lot of the pictures out when I edited it. So when we bring all 500 of these back in again, just kind of understand what I'm saying?
No.
So like I followed your example in the Patreon video where like you play a little bit of the day and then you chop the video and you insert the night and play some of the night and then you chop the video and stick the day back in.
Yeah, but those are not 4K hyperlapses. Though that's the hyperlapse video that the drone DJI produces for you.
Oh, okay.
That will in no way give you near the quality that you're going to get now if you take the actual raw photos. You see what I'm saying?
So we'll be doing the same thing again to all these raw photos then.
No, we're going to edit it differently. So what I showed you in the video was how to edit the finished product the DJI delivers. In other words, when you take a hyperlapse with a DJI drone, it takes all of those raw photos and stores it on the SD card separately. And then it also takes the regular photos that the drone took and makes a hyperlapse for you in the form of a video. So what you brought in, what you have in your timeline now is what? The raw photos, or do you have the video the DJI made for you?
The DJI video.
Well, that's a problem, because if you want high quality image, you cannot use that DJI video. That DJI video is for like editing on your phone, quick share with friends and family.
Okay.
What I'm going to show you here is taking the actual raw photos that's saved on the drone itself.
Okay, cool.
Do you have those?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I just brought them in.
Yes. Now, did it turn all the raw photos into a video like mine here automatically? Or did it list all the 500 photos?
No, it turned it into a video.
Okay. Did everyone else's turn it into a video, or you have 400, 500 photos on your screen?
I have a video.
Good. Good. Somebody's talking over there. I think it's David. David, you have to unmute if you're trying to tell me something.
X.
Yeah.
So we got a rolling blackout in California. That's where I went. But I'm set up with master now, and I got bin 1, everything. So now I don't know where we're at now.
Okay. All right. One second. David, are you good? You were trying to say something to me?
Yeah, I think mine looks like his or yours. Except mine has a black check mark next to his box.
Okay, that's fine. As long as it's not 500 images and it's only one,
Yeah.
then you're fine. Okay, so what we did was, right? Did you get, where are you? Did you get the bin open now? Did you
Yeah, I
manage
have
to make your bin?
one. Yeah, I
He
have
needs to
master.
rename his bins.
Yes, you have to rename your bins.
Okay.
2 bins you need, one called day and one called night. 2 bins.
All right, cool. Good night.
I want to be like Flo. I want to be the assistant instructor.
Oh, you helped me big time. Thank you both.
You're welcome. All right, once you got your bin set up, you're gonna double click, you're gonna click on day. You're gonna click on the day. All right. And then once you're in day, right click on it and hit import and bring all your raw files in. I'm assuming your raw files are on your computer already.
Yep.
Bring them in.
Okay.
Now, for those of you who are waiting, you can just, you have a choice. You can hold this down and bring it into your timeline, or you can just do it. You can just bring it across the screen over here and go append to end, or you can bring it down here, or you can go append to end. Anyone works. Anyone works. If you're gonna drag it down, you have to drag it to like the beginning. But if you go to append to end, it's automatically gonna set it up for you. And ain't that cool? Da Vinci was so nice to take all our photos and turn it into a video. Now,
I'm sorry, X. We didn't bring the night ones in yet. We just imported the day, correct?
correct.
Okay,
Just working on the day.
very good.
Yeah. Now, if I click on this, I highlight, see the red box is off the timeline on the video. Now, if I click the red box on here and I come up to the right where it says inspector, and I open up this inspector tab.
So I've got a question.
Sure. What's the question?
When I drag mine down, it doesn't stay. It just goes away.
Okay, can you try dragging it to append to end then? Put it on the screen and bring it down to append to end. When append to end is highlighted, just loose it. And that should bring it down.
Okay, so I've dragged it over, but now it's coming down. I've got it dragged. I'm dragging it now. No, it's coming down on mine. Like that side, yeah, that right in my inspector side.
Not all the way to inspector. Look where I'm dragging it. Right where the black screen is.
Uh-huh.
And then you'll see a menu. See the menu here? Insert, override, replace, fit to fill, place to top, append to end.
Okay,
Hover it over append to end and loose it.
Okay, how do I drag it down?
Oh,
you know,
you
no,
put-
I'm sorry. No, how do I get that thing to drop down? Open it up so it'll.
How do you get the menu?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, the menu doesn't drop down. You have to click on the video file, put your fingers down on the video file and drag it. You have to physically drag it over the screen. Yeah, slowly drag it over the screen. And then once you hit over the black area, you'll see append to end come up. Just loose it right on append to end. That should stick it. Did that work?
No, nothing dropping down on my side. My inspector's opened up.
Your what?
My inspector side is opened up.
Okay, do you have your video in the timeline?
Yeah, a little. Remember that little piece I told you that was early? It was like a little, and you said we need to spread it out. There's a little piece of.
Yeah. Is it? Look, try
What tab?
this. Look,
Yeah,
see this?
What tab?
It's like that, except it's read. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, hit the plus, hit this little plus there. That should open it out. And the minus will make it small. Hit the plus down, make it big.
Plus,
Is that working?
okay, the plus, where you hitting that at? Okay.
Yeah, right there. Plus
Right
sign.
there, I see you. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that's going. Okay, that's cool. All right, good.
There you go. Now click on the highlight the image till there's a red box around the video. And then go up to inspector and hit file. What do you notice about that file? If you see the video in codec is DNG, and that means that it's photos. But what you'll notice is those photos were generated at 25 FPS. And that's why I had you set it up to 25 FPS at the beginning. Right? So, yeah, so that's just FYI, some information for you. Yeah, but we can come back to video over here. That's fine.
X, when I'm still trying to get my media imported over there. So I got all 400 photos in the file in the folder, and then I just open it up and that should import it all over.
You got, so when you look at the folder, you're seeing 400 photos?
Correct.
You're seeing 400 photos?
Yeah. When I double click on it, 400 photos open.
So in DaVinci, you're looking not at one
No,
photo.
no. I'm just trying to, it's taking me to import them. When I go import media, is
Yeah,
that what I do?
Good.
yes,
So import media, and then when I import media, it's got all those collections. So I just hit select all and then import.
yes, yes. Control all to highlight all the photos from the day and hit import.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. Did it import as one video or it imported as 400 photos?
I'm still working on it right here. It's jeez. Sorry, you guys. So it's here we go. Okay. So it should imported as one.
Beautiful. Bring it down into your timeline like mine.
Okay.
Just drag it down there into the timeline.
Timeline. I'm looking for timeline here. I guess it.
Yeah, your timeline is this. This is your timeline. So let me show you. I will press my finger on this and hold it down, and I'm dragging it down.
Okay.
Bam, into the timeline.
All right. I guess I don't know where the timeline is. I'm looking at in 18. I don't know where the timeline is. On
Okay,
there.
look at my menu here. Are you on the first menu? Are you on the second menu? Or are you third? Make sure you're on the third, not this one. Not this one, the third one. If you hover your mouse over it, it will say editing. It's the edit tab. It's the third one. Not the first, not the second, but the third. That should open up your time. You should be able to see your timeline from there.
First, second, third.
To the bottom of the screen, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Let me yeah, I don't know what the hell I'm doing wrong here, but I don't see the timeline. It's like the screens. I have the hyperlapse video. Okay, I have the timeline here.
There you go.
All right.
So just grab it,
Mhm.
drag it down there. When you hover over the timeline, loosen take your hand off of it and it will be in the timeline.
Yeah, I don't. I'll just have to watch you guys and maybe go back and watch the recording. I mean, I have it here. I don't know. I don't have the timeline though set up. Like the whole bottom of your screen says timeline. Like mine doesn't say that. It shows where I'm still where my bin is, my hyperlapse, the folder is, or where all the video came in.
Yeah.
Some pins and keywords below
What
that.
menu are you on? Are you in the media menu like this?
Yeah.
Is that where you are?
Yeah, I'm in the media menu.
No, you have to come over to the second one. That's the cut. The third one has the, see,
Oh.
not the first one, not the second one, the third one.
All right, I don't see a third one here yet. I just see the first two.
If you hover over it, it'll say the first one is media, the
Right,
second one is cut, and the third one is edit. You should be in the edit tab.
all right. Yeah, it just looks different in yours. I'm sorry.
Irving, are you on 18 as well? Do you have the tabs at the bottom, or did you change that?
Yes, no, it's the same as yours. I'm on 18, but it's the same as yours.
Okay, I'm not sure if he's looking at the right spot. It's here, right? You can see where my
So now
mouse
I
is.
have, now it says,
It's exactly the same.
Oh,
master video. Okay, I'm like, yeah, I don't see a timeline anywhere. This is
okay.
cr-
Yeah,
Don't,
but
even if you don't see it say timeline, it's gonna say video one.
Yeah, I have the video here.
It's gonna say video one, so it's not gonna say timeline, but that's is the
I know,
timeline.
okay, well, so there's, it's sitting there.
oh, it's in the timeline? This
Yeah.
whole space here is called a timeline.
Okay,
So the video is sitting in there, right?
yeah, but you know how you have all this stuff, all the headings here, like, you know, with the numbers and, you know, what I mean, you have all the lines and stuff, like a graph. I don't have
Ah.
it.
Oh, okay. That's just the timeline menu options. You can set up different options, look like here. Get different options you can choose from.
Okay.
Yeah, you probably have this section is probably closed on yours, but your video is in the timeline, right? That's the most
Right.
important thing.
Yeah,
Okay, good. So yeah, don't worry about the other stuff because we're not even using that. All we care about is the video. That's this. You're able to move through the video.
yeah, correct.
Good. So now here comes the first step. Let me grab my notes because I don't remember this stuff. I often take notes. Okay, so the first thing I normally do is if you look at this image, you'll see a gap here. Don't worry about that. We'll fix that. You'll see a gap on the right side, a black space. Don't worry about that. We'll fix all of that. If you look at the image might look dark. That's okay. It's a raw file. We'll fix all of that. The first thing that I would normally do is come to my effects tab over here. All right, media pool effects right there. See that? Okay. The first thing that I will do normally is start editing the video or start editing the photo. So now we're going to come from the edit tab. And we're going to come over to the color tab. So you have edit, you have fusion, skip fusion and come to color. Click on that. Things are going to look different now, but that's fine. You still have your image up. You don't see the timeline or anything, that's gone. But now you're in the color tab because we want to start coloring it. Come over here to this small circle and hit primaries where it says color wheels. Hit that. Boom. And you're going to see a whole bunch of wheels pop up there. Now, I will take the time to say if you have LUTs, right? You can have your gallery, you can select here, and you have LUTs that you can select between the gallery and LUTs, or you can go to the media pool, whatever you want to show on the color page. You have 3 choices over here. Normally, when I'm editing fast, I'm just going to come down here to a LUT. Like I have a whole bunch of LUTs here if it's daytime. Like I'll go to my signature LUTs, and if you hover over a LUT, automatically that will color the image. You just have to find the image, the color that you're looking for. Now, something like this I would go with, which is called DJI Safe Color. But if you don't have LUTs, don't worry about it. Just leave it on media pool. And the LUTs just save you time. Like I could just slap a LUT on it now and I'm done color editing, right? But if you don't have LUTs, don't worry about it. We can edit the actual image here, which is doesn't take that much more time. So the first thing that I notice here, I can't see your image, but the first thing I notice with my image here is that it's a very, let me see how big I can make this. My image is very dark in the corners here by the road. It's very dark. The corners right over here, it's very dark. So the first thing I usually play with is the shadows in that case. So I come to the shadows and I can increase the shadows. You see how bright that will make the image. And if I push the shadows all the way down to -100, the image becomes dark. Bring it all the way up, it becomes too bright. If you make a mistake with the shadows, don't worry about it. Just go where it says shadows and double click on it, and it will go back to what it was before. So the first thing that I'm going to do to this image is brighten it up a little bit so it can get a little bright by increasing the shadows. There, that looks much better to me. You don't want to push it up too much because you'll make the sky too bright. See, if I bring the shadows up too much, now I can't see the clouds in the skies because the ground looks great, looks very bright, but then I destroyed the sky because I brought the shadows up too much. So I would not bring the shadows up. I'm going to double click on shadows and reset it. Now, in case you're wondering how to adjust the shadows, you just go over the word shadow, you press and hold down with the mouse, and you scroll to the, and while you're holding down, you move left, that will make the shadows darker. While you're holding it down, you move right, that will make the shadows brighter. And again, just double click on the word shadows and it goes back to 0. So I'm going to scroll mine over to the right a little bit. You could see the number going into plus, like it's going from +40, 60, +80, +100. There you go. I'll zero it back and push it bright, 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 boom. That's bright enough. I don't want to destroy my sky, right? So my shadows are at 15. Now, if your image does not look dark, then you do not need to do this, right? But I find that all the DJI drones, if you use a DJI drone, 9 out of 10, you do have to push the shadows a little bit because it's a raw file and it's very dark. Right. Another thing I like to do is you see the clouds here. I can't really see the clouds over here. So what I will do is right next to the shadows, there's this thing called highlights. I like to go to the highlights and bring it down. Now look, I can see the clouds. The darker I make it, the more I can see the clouds. Again, I'll reset it. See the definition in the clouds over there? I'll reset it. Not so much definition. So I like to bring down my highlights a little bit, just so the clouds become a little bit more defined, right? Hopefully when you did your hyperlapse, it was on a nice day, a nice cloudy day, and you got nice definitions there, right?
How high did you say you go with your shadows?
It depends on the image. You have to look at the image. There's no set.
Right.
Yeah, it all depends on the image, depends on the time of the day, but you look at the image and usually look at the corners. The corners on the hyperlapses are usually very dark. So once the corners look bright enough, I would say that's good enough.
All right, cool.
Yeah. Right, and then my highlights, again, my highlights are at -25, and that's because I wanted to see the clouds. Highlights are like the bright areas, and when you make the bright areas dark, you tend to see more in the bright areas when you turn down the highlights. So I like to turn on my highlights a little bit.
Yeah, the clouds came good.
Yeah, as you can see, if I turn it up, there goes my clouds, they're gone. Right, bring it back down, there comes the clouds, right? But you don't want to bring it down too much because look at the ground. The ground starts to get too dark, right? So you don't want, with this editing, it's always a balance, right? If your ground looks good, 9 out of 10, you destroyed the sky. If your sky looks excellent, 9 out of 10, you can't even see the ground. Ground's going to be too dark. Right, so that's the problem with photography and videography, is that it's always a trade-off between the bright areas and the dark areas, and the bright areas are the sky and the dark areas are usually the ground. So the trick here is to finding a balance of what looks good on the ground and looks good on the sky, but you'll never ever be able to get the best of both worlds, right? You'll be able to get very close, but not the best.
Hey, Alex, it's Curtis here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Curtis.
How do you get to the scopes on the right there? I'm having, mine says curves and custom.
Curves and customs, my scopes are open here by default. See, so yours doesn't say scopes at all?
It says curves and custom, and it has a diagonal line going through from the top right corner to the bottom left corner. I've been
Mine
clicking.
too.
Far right side, there's a couple icons to click on. One is keyframes, next one's over scopes.
All right.
All right, no worries, no worries. Let's keep moving.
got
I'll
it.
figure it
Yeah.
out.
You see, yeah, see the icons?
Keyframe. Look right here. It's only, yeah, you see these two icons? This one on the right that has the graphs that opens it up, and then you come down here and you can
Okay,
click
got it,
parade
Got
or
it.
weave form or vector scope. You got it?
Yep.
Yeah,
I had a
action.
question. I had a question about increasing the exposure. I shot, it needs more exposure boost. How do you increase the overall exposure?
Well, I just did by
Well,
increasing this. Yeah,
The shadows I boost those, but I need my scopes are way down. They're not filling the screen. I need to get overall exposure increase.
oh, so then you can, I mean, that's pretty much it. Your image was probably, when you shot it on the camera, was probably a little too dark. So what you'll find is that DaVinci, when you adjust your shadows and your highlights, you're actually adjusting the exposure of the image. So by cranking those up all the way, still nothing?
Well, I get some, but like Premiere and Final Cut Pro, I can actually boost the whole overall exposure.
Yes, that's
Your
that, yeah.
offset.
Well, you can boost the offset at the bottom here, but yeah, that
Okay, there you go.
that helps.
How do you do that?
This wheel at the bottom here, you could turn the wheel at the bottom, see if that helps.
Oh, the offset. Okay, that might
Yeah.
help on the curves.
Yeah, it's pushing it up. Your gain too can bring it up a little bit. Yeah, you see DaVinci doesn't have an exposure wheel that you can just crank up the exposure. It has fine tune adjustments that you can adjust each particular thing to get the exposure that you're looking for.
Right,
In
thank
case
you.
in case you make a mistake, just hit reset here, reset for the gamma, reset for the gain, and reset for the offset. So the lift, the gamma, the gain, and the offset all constitute exposure. But they're different parts, there's specific parts to the exposure of the image.
Thank you.
Is your image up now? Does it look good?
Mine is-
How's your image looking, Gregory? Is it good? It's come up?
Yeah, the shadows are, but I just have low exposure on it. So maybe I can click on the levels and boost.
Yeah,
drag
did you
the
try
levels.
these wheels? Did you try these wheels at the bottom here?
Yeah, I tried the offsets and things, yeah.
Did you try the gain? Because look what the gain is doing to mine. The gain's bringing it up pretty bright.
That's helping
See
quite a bit.
that?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I'll keep
Yeah.
dialing the gain.
Yeah,
Thank you, thank you.
you're welcome. See that? That's your exposure. That's part of your exposure right there. That's way too much gain. I know yours can get bright with the gain. There you go. Trying to tweak my gain, but I don't want to lose that sky. A little bit of gain, maybe a little bit of offset. A little bit of gamma. So a little bit. Keep your eye on that sky. Oh, that's gonna destroy it. Your lift. That will give you some exposure. Turn that lift wheel. There you go. I think that's good enough for me. I'm gonna bring down my highlights now that I've messed with that. Brought up the image brightness. A little too bright. Bring this gain down. There you go. I like that. Bring this down a little bit. Like that. Yep. All right, everybody happy with their image so far? How's the image looking? Bright and vivid?
How do you reset it?
Which one? What do you want to reset? The wheels? The little
the-
wheels?
The image,
The entire thing?
yeah,
Look, there's a little reset button here for your primaries. Right, you reset all. See, it comes up there. That's gonna
Yeah.
reset all. Yeah, just
Okay.
click that. And you're back to square one. Yep. So the whole goal of messing with this is basically just to make your image bright. Right. Good, I'm moving on. If not, somebody stop me. But now I'm coming to saturation. I'm gonna give it's a raw image, so raw images tend to be desaturated. So I'm gonna come up here under saturation. And I'm gonna set 50 normally, and I'll push it up. If I'm looking for a natural look, I'll probably hover somewhere around in the high 50s, like 58, 57, 58, 59, somewhere around there. If I'm looking for something really strong and just vivid and just like popping, then I'll probably come to my saturation around 76 or 77. Somewhere around there. You go into 80s, then it's like off the charts. Like the colors are just gonna be like really popping. So saturation all depends on what you like. I definitely don't like mine in the 80s, so I'm gonna reset my saturation and I'm gonna come somewhere in the 70s. I like 71, looks good. Nice color, nice everything. So now your image should be bright and your image should be colorful. Two things we have achieved, brightness and color. I'm gonna keep moving. If not, somebody stop me, please. Stop me going once, stop me going twice. Good. I am here now on details. This one is very important slider. This slider will add sharpness and it will also add details to the image. So when you crank this up, your midterm tone details, your image will start to pop. Your clouds, everything. Look at that image. Look at that. Dull, sharp, dull, sharp. Now you can crank it up to 100. But to me, that just looks way too over sharpened. It looks detailed, but it's got like a white sharpness, like somebody sprinkled grains of salt all over the trees. It looks like somebody sprinkled grains of salt all in the water, all in the clouds. So people might look at that and go, black. Right, so the trick is finding a balance. 100 is definitely too strong, but I want some details in the clouds. So usually when I'm cranking out my make tones and details, I'm looking here by the clouds, and I'm looking to get some definition over there. So I'll just crank it up a little bit. Oh, see the clouds there? Look at it. Nothing now. When I hit like the 30s, look at it. Boom, came to life there. Nothing. It's dull. Boom, came to life. Right. Look at this little point here by the clouds, if you could see. Double click, it's dull. Hit the 30s, boom, it came to life. That little part there came to life. That's good. So I'm gonna leave mine around 35 because I don't want it to be too over sharpened, but I definitely did help to highlight the clouds. I'm going to keep moving over here. Another important tool is contrast, right? Contrast. A lot of people say DJI drones come with a lot of contrast and they don't like it. And they take some of the contrast out. I really don't care. I just look at whatever looks good to me. So normally I like to take out contrast and see how it looks. And I like an image that's not contrasty preference. That's my preference. That looks nice and bright. What happens if I give it more contrast? Oh, that contrast to me adds like richness. So you can see the image is just getting rich with the contrast. Like, there you go. But the contrast will also make the image get dark, right? So bear that in mind. How dark do you want your image? So right now my contrast is at 1.108, which is the plus. I double click to zero it back. I really don't like the contrast. I like the richness, but it's just the image looks too dark for me. So I feel like I'm giving up brightness to get some contrast. So what if I take away the contrast? Taking away the contrast does not look good. I'm gonna add just a touch of contrast to give it like, I like a little bit of contrast. So again, it's your taste. I can't see the image that you have, but you can. And basically it's, does it look good to you? That's the main important thing. Now tint. Tint is another thing, right? Tint, you can push the tint to the left, the image gets green, push it to the right, it gets like a purple hue. Usually your tint, the DJI drones nails the tint, but I like a little bit of a warmer image. I'm just gonna push my tint a little bit off to the blue side of things, a little bit. Okay, I don't like it. I like it normal, so I'm not gonna touch my tint. Temperature, do I want a warmer or cooler image? Push it to the left, the image gets blue. Push it to the right, the image gets red. So you can see the scopes moving as well, red and your blues, right? That obviously looks like something. I don't know what that looks like, but I'm zero it back. Don't be afraid to push your stuff because you can always just double click on it, on it and zero it back. There we go. I often like a cooler approach, but today I'm going for a more warm feel. So to the right will give you a warmer look. To the left will give you a cooler look. I'm going warmer. I'm going warmer. The reason I'm going warmer, just me personally, is because the sky looks too blue. And I find like the sky was really white. I don't know. I don't like the blue coming into the sky over there. So when I push the temperature, let me zero it. Let me push it to the warm side, which is to the right. The sky gets white. See, it's no longer bluey under there anymore. And that is what I like. Right, so that works good for me. So now the image to me looks natural. And I don't pay attention to the numbers too much. When I'm editing my image, I pay attention to the actual photo or the image that's in front of me. That's what I look at. And I pay attention to, things like the sky. All right, I'm moving on to just a little trick that I'm gonna add in here. You don't need to do this if you're not like an intermediate to an advanced DaVinci user. I would tell you just look at this part, but don't mess with your image because you might mess it up. But I just want to show you what's out there. So I'll click on this little spider web here just to show you, don't do it, but I'm just gonna show you a little extra stuff that you can do. If I click on this spider web and I click on the blue part of the sky here, see there's a little dropper running around on the screen. I click on this dropper here. I'm collecting the blue data from that cloud and it shows me where that blue data is. It's highlighted in red. I can put my arrow on the red, hold it down on that little red part, and that's gonna alter the blue part that I collected data from. And here I can change the color. I can take out the blue and make it like a lighter white to make the whole sky white if I want, right? I could push it up. Look at that sky. How about that white sky? That looks good. There's no blue in there. I took the blue away and now the sky is white. What are you gonna do? White skies. Come up here, I get purple skies, right? That of course doesn't look real. Come down there, you got some kind of weird blue, right? So you can play with it, hold it and grab it, pull it around, find the color that suits you, right? But this you want to move in small increments, otherwise you're going to mess it up. And say you mess it up, no big deal. You can always come here and reset it. Wow, this looks kind of weird, interesting. Looks like aliens are coming or something, or some kind of light pollution. All right, but I'm not going with that. I'm going to keep it natural. So I'm going to select my blue again, but I don't know. I'm not feeling blue today. I'm just going to take that blue away just because I can, right? I've actually took it over into the green area, but here I'll put it more into the, give it like a blue film. Let's come down here. That's about as much blue as I can take away out of that sky. I call it a teal sky or something like that. Now, you don't have to mess with this tool. It's kind of an advanced tool. It helps you to change a specific color of an image. And bear in mind, what I'm showing you here on these photos, you can actually do in videos as well. You can take your log videos and you can edit it just like this, and you can get some really nice log footage as well. But anyway, I'm not gonna mess with this image anymore. I'm done editing. I like what I see. It looks good enough to me. It's bright enough, it's colorful enough, it's saturated enough. Now that I took the color out of the sky, I'll come back to the saturation and bump it up a little bit just because I want to. Do you see how brown the ground gets when the saturation is bumped up? I don't like that. I should have never touched it. I'm going to put it back in the 70s. There you go, 75. I'm done. I could spend literally hours messing around until I get exactly what I'm looking for, right? So that's it. Now that I've done editing the image, now the image has color, it has brightness, it has everything that you need. Bear in mind, if you had a LUT, you could have just slapped a LUT and the LUT would have done all of this for you. Except brighten the image. The LUT will give you the colors, but it won't brighten the image. The next thing you have to do is stabilize. Now, to stabilize the image, this is where it's very important. You've got to come back over here to the edit tab. Click on the edit. Make sure your inspector is open. That's the inspector closed. Make sure your inspector is open. And you're going to come down, scroll down. There's a lot of settings here in the inspector. You're going to come down to stabilize. See where it says stabilize? Well, you can turn stabilize off or you can turn stabilize on, right? To make sure that it's on, and then click on it. And that will drop down the whole menu for stabilize. So if you are taking notes, the first thing you want to do is import. While we wait for everyone to get here, the first thing you want to do is import your files, right? Or I should say the first thing you want to do is open your template and save it as a new file. That's number one. Number two, you want to import your photos into DaVinci and bring it into your timeline. And number three, you want to edit the color and the brightness. And if you have LUTs, apply LUTs. That's number three. And then number four, you want to stabilize and zoom. That's what we're about to do, stabilize and zoom. Now, I don't know what settings you have, especially the guys who have DaVinci 18, right? So under stabilize, make sure you're on perspective. Make sure that you check off zoom. And I always leave these at standard. I have experimented a lot with these sliders, and I find that the stock settings that DaVinci has works best for me. So make sure your cropping ratio is at 0.500. Make sure your smoothness is at 0.250, and make sure your strength is at 1. Right? Those are your standard numbers that come. Make sure you're on perspective. Make sure your mode is perspective. You have 3. You have similarity and translation. These two, to me, when you're doing hyperlapses, they don't stabilize well. Perspective for me is the best for hyperlapse. I'm thinking 18 comes with the same settings out the gate, comes with 0.5, 0.25, and 1 out the gate.
Yep, it's the same.
Very good. Now, once that is all set up, you can hover over here. You'll see the button says stabilize lights up. Click it. Boom, stabilizing. You'll see it comes up here, analyzing 25, 26, 27, 28. It's analyzing the footage and stabilizing it for you. Now, did you see what it did? The image came in it cropped in the image a little bit, right? Now, this is the reason why I prefer to bring my Hyperlapse raw files into DaVinci instead of taking what DJI gives me. DJI crops a whole bunch of the image off the top and crops a whole bunch of image off the bottom when it outputs that file for you. Whereas if you do it in DaVinci, it only crops in a little bit, but the image gets very, very stable.
For some reason, mine's taken a long time to analyze.
Yes, well, this is a good testament to your computer. A good computer will eat through stabilization because it's multiple points that it has to check in the image. It has to analyze the image as it moves to see what part is shaky, and it has to come up with some kind of algorithm to either zoom in and to maybe tilt the image or stretch the image to stabilize it. So a fast computer will eat through stabilization like mine did, and a slow computer will, well, it will show your computer will show its strengths here.
Hey, X, will you run through again more time the inspector, what our settings should be at?
For the stabilization,
Yeah, correct.
yeah, so I have it open here, right?
Mhm.
When you go to inspector,
Yeah,
you scroll down to stabilization, it should be in perspective, it should be in zoom, and your cropping ratio should be 0.500. Your smooth should be 0.250, and your strength should be 1. That's usually standard.
smooth, it should be what again? Smooth, you have a 250.
0.250.
Yep, that's what I got them on.
Yep.
Everything's-
Yep, once everything is good, hover over this button that says stabilize and click on it.
Okay.
Now, if your laptop or your computer raced through the stabilization like mine, then you probably have one of the new Macs that
Mhm.
have either the M1 or the M2 chips inside, or you've just got a blazing fast computer laptop.
Mine just keeps crashing.
Yes. Yeah. So that unfortunately is that it was at that point when that started happening to me that I upgraded my laptop.
Hey, X, quick question for you. Should we be saving this periodically, or is this thing automatically saving as we go along?
It depends on your DaVinci settings, but I will tell you something. If you look at the top of your screen, where it says edit, I can't see my edits in red here. Can you see that?
Yeah.
That's telling me that I have not saved in a long time. That's why it's red. It's saying, hey, you haven't saved in a long time. If
Mine is white.
yours is white, then yours is you have autosave on. I don't use autosave. Yeah, autosave is a good feature, nothing wrong with it. I just don't use it. I like control over when I want to save. So I'm glad you brought that up because I need to save. Mine's red. So I'm gonna hit file and I'm gonna hit save project.
Oh, where's the auto save turn on, turn off button at?
That would be buried in the settings somewhere. I would have to look to see
Okay.
where I found that. Yeah, but if you have autosave on, leave it on. I mean, if
Yeah.
it ain't broken, don't fix it, right?
It automatically is on, so you have to turn it off.
Yes, I turned mine off. But that's just me. Most people autosave is perfect. Right, so you see my edit now went from a dark color, probably went from red to white now, so now I'm fine. All right, now if your computer crashed, Eric, are you still there? Was it your computer that did your DaVinci hang, or what happened?
Yeah, and no, I keep trying to do it, but it won't stabilize. Oh, that's, I got 3%.
Yeah, yeah. So you're gonna have to, my first lab computer, I would have to leave it for like an hour or so.
Okay.
Yeah, so you might have to leave it for about an hour or so. Your computer is just, what are you running? Are you running a laptop or desktop?
Laptop. but
Windows or Mac?
it's an old one.
Oh, it's an old one.
Yeah, it's a geez, a Envy.
Oh, okay. I think that's the HP, no? HP Envy?
Yeah, it's a HP.
Yeah.
It's doing it. It's just going slow. Well, I'll
Yeah,
keep up. Go ahead and
yeah,
keep going.
you just have to be a little patient with it. Now the next step is I'll turn on back my inspector. Once it has stabilized, you scroll up on the inspector and you're gonna look for zoom. It's on the transform. If your transform menu's up, press the button transform and it will open up all the transformations. You want to zoom, but here's the catch. You don't want to zoom too much. Because if you zoom too much, then you're gonna start pixel peeping and then the image is gonna look bad. You zoom in on any image, it's gonna start to look bad. So the less zoom that you do on an image, the better it will look. That's the general rule of thumb. However, we have to zoom in because the image doesn't fill the screen. See this whole black part on the left here and the black part on the right? The goal is to zoom in just enough that it fills, it comes to this line and comes to that line. As soon as that image is stretched to that point, stop. So I'm gonna go over the numbers over here and I'm gonna push to the right, hold down on the pointer and push to the right, zoom in. Look, it's coming close to the edges, coming close to the edges, coming close to the edges. Still seeing some black edges, still seeing some, boom. That's it. I do not want to zoom more than I have to. Right? I just want to reinforce and reiterate the DJI does all of this stuff in the app for you when you do a hyperlapse with DJI. And that's why most people stick with the app because they don't want to do this stuff themselves. However, I'll show you a major advantage here. Now that I've zoomed to fill the screen, I could see a black line at the edge here. I've got to zoom a little bit more. I'm seeing black lines. There you go. Now that I've zoomed a little bit more, I come to position and I come to the y-axis. And now the y-axis only, right? Not the x-axis, the y-axis. Now I can move the image down or up, right? And that allows me to focus, for me to have control over what I want to focus on as the hyperlapse move. Do I want to focus more on the ground? Do I want people to see the ground more? So I'll look down more. And the hyperlapse will be focused on the ground and the lake. Look at that.
Wow.
See that? That's my call. DJI doesn't give you that call. They just crop the image stock and then they spit it out, right? Or do I want people to see the top of the building? So I will push it up on the y-axis, right? Now again, if you go to adjust your X and your Y axis, right? And you go to play this image, when you hit space bar, the image will play. If you hit the space bar and your image is not playing, again, that's signs of a very weak computer, right?
I have a question.
Yep.
You know, in my timeline, the photo, like where yours is, you're showing this image. Mine's went away. How do I get that to come back?
You have to come to the edit. Are you in the edit tab?
Yes. Yeah, I'm in edit.
It disappeared?
Yeah.
Is it that fine blue thing again?
No, that's good. No, maybe I can just click on it down here.
Yeah.
Click on it, it might come up. Let's see.
Yeah, click on it and then hit space bar. It's gonna play.
Yeah, mine's all black. It's showing all black.
In the timeline?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like this? You don't have this red.
Oh yeah. See, yeah, it's like black. Yeah, it's like that. So what
You see this? Is this red over here? Click on it if it's red. And
no, mine is white.
No, that's a first. That's a first. And it wouldn't play. What are you on PC or Mac?
I'm on Mac. I got somewhat of the same computer you got.
Huh. That's odd. So you have it down here. You can click on it, but is the image previewing up here in the preview
No,
window?
no, it's not previewing up there.
Is it like this?
Yes, it's like that.
Are you sure that this little piece here where it says enable video track, you sure it's not off?
Mine is, yeah, mine is in white.
Or just click on it and click it back again and make sure. It's got to be, because if you grade this out,
Uh-huh.
yeah. Do you have video 1, video 2 showing, or just video
Yeah.
1?
Yeah, I've got video 1 showing.
Video 1. Are you sure your video's in video 1, or is it up in video 2 up here?
No, it's in video 1.
It's in video 1, and this is not, wow, because this is usually what does it.
Right. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Huh.
That's weird.
Hey, for instance, on your, oh, never mind.
Yeah, that I'm not sure what's going on. We'll have to do some troubleshooting there. All right, so we play back. And for me, I like mine to, oh no, see here, it's like about to cut out the top of this building. I want to leave the top of the building in. I don't want it to get cut out at any point. So I'll keep raising it up. Just keeps trying to cut out the top of the building just so the buildings stay in. That's it. That's good enough for me. Boom. There you go. Just so the buildings stay in. It's perfect. Right. So now I have not only a nice colorful image, but I have a nice colorful fast moving image. And that's pretty much it for my day hyperlapse.
Quick question for you.
Mm-hmm.
As it relates to stabilization, I found that when we went through it, it was hard for me to compare and contrast whether it worked or not. Is it any way that we should play the video first and see what the stabilization looks like, and then do the stabilization afterwards so we can sort of see what it looks before and after? Because when I clicked on the button and I played it just now, unless I've looked at it, and I probably would have looked at it with the regular video that DJI produces,
Right.
I had a time understanding whether it really stabilized or not, you know? So would that be a good key to play it first, see what it looks like, and then hit the stabilization button and see if there's a difference?
Yes, you can do that first, but remember, you would have to zoom first, fill the screen first, and then play it. Right? And then stabilize it, because what I
Okay.
did was I stabilized and then I zoomed and then I played it. And the only
Okay.
reason I did it that way is because I did a whole bunch of messing around first
Okay.
when I first started learning, and I found that this is what gave me the best results. So I
Okay.
just stuck with this.
All
Why,
right, so-
you don't like how your stabilization looks?
No, let me give you a point of reference where I'm going with this. I'm the one that sent you that, and I gave you some great praise, that Hyperlapse. It was my first time DJI Mini, and you said cool, and I appreciate that. You remember that? You remember seeing that video? I sent you my Hyperlapse, and I was like, I'm looking forward to the lecture on Sunday, and you're like, cool. You probably get so many, but I sent that to you. It was the highway, and what happened was, when I did the daytime hyperlapse, it shot 400 photos. Then I did the nighttime one and it did 300 photos. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. When I looked at the daytime hyperlapse, the stabilization was on point. When I did the nighttime one, I don't know, but for some reason, I went from 400 photos to 300 photos and the stabilization was way off. Now, I recall from the video, you said that DJI was not up to date with its firmware with the Mini 3, and you would probably get better results with the Air 2S. And I'm sort of in agreement with you. I don't know what may have happened, but I know I went from 400 photos to 300 photos and the stabilization was well. It could have been
Well,
wind. It could have been a lot of things.
yeah,
I
well,
don't
that's one red flag right there. Going from 400 photos to 300. Generally, the more photos you take, the better, the more data you have to stabilize, right? So that's probably why the one with more photos stabilize better than the one with less photos. However, when you're shooting at night, obviously it's going to be less photos because I'm guessing you went for long exposure shots at night.
Yes.
So that's why you got, yeah. So it could have been either the Mini 3. I don't know if you did it before the last update or if you did it after the last update, or it could have been wind, right? Could have been one of the two, but the hyperlapse is there. So I would just, you have it saved on your controller. I would just go and try it again at night and see if you get better results.
All right. So my question to you is that when we align the two, and I may be jumping ahead, and I apologize, but are the 400 photos versus the 300, when we put one on top of the other, it doesn't necessarily have to align, right? I don't have
Yes,
to expect 4 and 4 is what I'm saying, because I guess you answered my question. The 300 is because I did the long exposure. That's why I got less.
yeah, no, yeah. So you are jumping ahead a little bit, but I will say this, right? They don't have, if you put them one on top of the other, they won't align because one's taking 300 photos and one's taking 400. So
Okay.
they naturally will not align unless the duration of the video was the same length. Did both videos come out to the same length of time, day and night?
No.
No. So then they won't align. They will not align. So what
They
you
were
have to,
supposed to. They were supposed to, but at the end of the video, it stuck. It told me that the aircraft stopped. It said, okay, end the photos. It stuck in one place and it kept shooting photos and still, and it just kept shooting photo. I'm
oh
like,
no,
okay,
no, that's a malfunction. You should reshoot
Yeah.
it. That's just a malfunction.
okay.
Yeah,
So my
just
last
reshoot
question,
it.
my last question to you is, I don't know, but it just seems like that Mini 3 really overheats, and I don't think DJI figured out a way to cool it. Now, when you fly it in hyperlapse and the aircraft is moving, and it's because it's not moving through the air at a fast rate, do you feel that it really overheats while you're doing hyperlapse because it's not moving as fast as when you're flying around?
Yes, not only is it gonna heat up a lot because if it's a hot day or a hot night, yes, it will heat up fast because it's not moving as fast. And number two, it is shooting high raw data image. So it's gonna heat up even faster because you're pushing the camera and it's doing algorithmic calculations. So that processor on that little drone is working like there's no tomorrow.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So it'd be safe to say don't do extensive long hyperlapses. with the
No,
Mini
I
3.
do extensive long ones. I don't care. I just let it, you know, you gave me this and you said it's capable. I'm doing it.
All right, because with the Air 2S, that battery, like you said, you're just not going to get long
No,
hyperlapses because it just guzzles, like you said, it just drinks the hell out of that battery. And I don't
correct.
do long ones with the Air 2S.
Yeah, the Mini 3 has the battery life. The ideal, I tell people all the time, the ideal drone for hyperlapse, long hyperlapses and the best quality hyperlapses is the Mavic 3. There's just no other drone to compare with that for long hyperlapses. The Mini 3 is great because it can do the hyperlapses just as long as the Mavic 3, but the gimbal and the wind tolerance and the quality of the shots just isn't as stable as the Mavic 3.
All right.
So
I'm sorry, X. So I know you don't work for DJI, but I like to know your opinion. Where do you think they are in terms of stability with the Mini 3? Do you think they got the firmware and they're getting it on at some point, or is it
no, I'm on the latest firmware and it's okay, but it's not on point. It's just okay. Yeah, this shot here is the Mini 3, and I think this looks okay. The turns to me are just, the turns here are better, but you see it started to turn and then it straightened out. You might not notice it. Look at it there. That's like an abrupt curve. Like, why did it turn? To me, the Air 2S and the Mavic 3 calculates the turns better. Again, look at this here. This is nice. It started off good. It's turning nice. Then it turns the other direction. And now look, it's going to start turning. Whoop, look, that's an abrupt turn. Why so fast? Right? So the way the Mavic 3 and then the Air 2S just smooths it out better, but this doesn't look bad. I think Most people won't notice it and they'll be happy with it, especially for that price point. Yeah,
Okay.
so I'm not gonna make a big deal about it. Yeah, but yeah, it is. It's not the best.
All right, thanks for that. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Okay, so
I'm
mine ended up finally stabilizing and everything. So I got the zoom set, and then I got the wide set where I want it. What do I do next then? Do I save it or?
yeah, you can hit file save and save project.
Yeah, that y-axis makes a huge difference.
Yeah, because now you can align it up and down and you can get it set. So my question is, are you able to play it back now? If
Let me
you click,
see.
if you click on it and hit space bar, you click on it in the timeline. Does it play? Or is it choppy,
Yeah,
choppy,
it's playing
choppy?
slow. It's choppy, but it's
Yeah,
playing.
it's choppy, yeah. All right, yeah, but just what I would used to do before I had a faster computer, I would click at different points and see if the y-axis chopped out any buildings or chopped out anything that you wanted to leave in there, and just adjust the y-axis till it gets
But
almost everything.
it's probably choppy because it's rendering. You should see a blue line going from the left to the right.
Let me see.
There's a thin blue line, there's a red line that's turning blue as it renders above the timeline, but under the picture.
Yeah, see, it's not turning any colors. It's just staying gray. Well, it's playing good now, better now.
Yeah, it's gonna take a while to render out because, well, the computer is slow, right?
Okay.
So there's no telling how long it's gonna take.
Okay.
Yeah, the
Cool.
longer you leave it, the faster it's going. Well, the more time you give it to render. All right, so there you go. You can always jump to certain points and make sure that certain things are not cut out. Now, somebody drew on the screen. I'm trying to figure out how to get that red line away. It's bothering me.
How did they draw on your screen?
Huh?
How did they draw on your screen?
I
I see
don't
it, but
know.
you had to do that.
No, I didn't draw on the screen. I can't even draw on my screen right now.
Yeah, but how can I don't understand how somebody can draw on your screen though.
No, you can do it. If you go on the screen and draw, you'll see it'll draw on the screen. It's a remote control. Yeah, all right, it's whatever. I'll leave. It's just a little squiggly line at the bottom. All right, so once we hit save now, we're gonna come to the end here at this little rocket. And we're gonna expose, because what's gonna happen is if you try to bring music in and you try to finish off this hyperlapse, I don't care how fast your computer is. Once you drop music in here, it's gonna botch it. It's not, no computer is gonna be able to play photos edited with stabilization and zoom and music. You can try it if you want, but let me know how that works. So what I always do is come to the rocket sign over here, which is the export sign. Click on that and let's export this. So what this will do is take these photos that have been edited and it will, and that has been stabilized, and it will turn those photos now into a video for you. So I always call it day video mini 3. Right? And video export video has to be checked, otherwise you won't be able to export video, right? You can browse and tell it where you want it to go on the computer. I will usually put it wherever my photos are. So I'm going to put it in my edits, in my social media, in my hyperlapse folder, in my roughs. I have a separate folder that I call roughs, right? That I will save it here. Right, wherever you save it, just make sure you save it somewhere you can find it. Right, day mini first cut, day mini 3. I'll call mine day mini 3 first cut. There we go. Right, so I have a name, I have a location, Audio, I'll come to audio over here and check that off because this video has no audio in it. So if you leave audio on, it will generate an audio file that's a waste of time. So just make sure you take off the audio, come back to video. MP4 is good, right? MP4 is good. H.264 or H.265 works. I say H.264. I'm just a fan of H.264, but you can do H.264 or H.265 if you want. If you have this option, depending on what computer you have, for hardware acceleration, yes, please check that. And of course, make sure your resolution should be set to 3840 by 2160 because we did that at the beginning of class, and your frame rate should be set to 25 FPS because we did that at the beginning of class. Right? I leave quality on automatic and everything else here on auto. I don't touch anything else here. And then I come at the bottom where it says add to render queue, bang. And I add that to my render queue.
I don't have the use hardware acceleration if available.
That's fine. Yeah, you probably don't have a hardware. You probably don't have a fast computer, so there's no hardware acceleration built in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it probably has an onboard GPU and CPU. It doesn't have dedicated. And that also means it's going to take some time. Now, once you hit add to render queue, hit render all, and well, depending again how fast your computer is going to determine how fast it processes. Right? So I'm at 70, 80, 90, 100. That's pretty fast for color grading, for and I did some color changing as well, and for zooming, and for stabilization. Bang, all that's done.
One word for anybody that's got a slower computer. The NVIDIA graphics card will make a big difference. So if you can upgrade the graphics card, even if you can't upgrade the computer, that should help you a lot.
Okay.
Good note.
Question also, do you like MPEG-4 or the QuickTime MOV format?
It's your call. I'm an MP4 guy, but either one works.
Thank you.
And so we'll do the same thing again for the night photos.
Yes. So now that that's done, right? That's sitting in there, right? So here's what I normally do for the night. I usually come to file, right? And I come down across here, down to new timeline, file, new timeline, and click on that. Again, file, new timeline. So you get this little menu that pops up here that says timeline 2. I don't like timeline 2. I prefer to change it to night. So that way I don't have to leave DaVinci. I can edit my night stuff. Now here it says use project settings. That's fine. You can leave it on use project settings. It will copy everything that we did at the beginning, the 25 FPS, the 4K, blah, blah, blah. So make sure this is checked off. Use project settings should be checked, and just hit create. Bang. Now you have a brand new slate to work on. Brand spanking new slate. Right, just stop me if I'm going too fast. I'm going to come over here now. I have my day raw photos in my day bin. Now I'll come over to my night raw photos. And as you can see, those are empty. My night raw photos are empty. And that's because I don't have any night photos. So now I have to bring my night photos in. So I will right click, import media. And here I have my night photos. I always keep my day photos and my night photos in the same folder, right? But separate. So I have all my night raw here. I will bring it all in. All 300. My night's actually longer than my day. Boom. 300 night photos I have. I like to double check, make sure I didn't forget anything. I have all highlighted. It's moments like this I miss Windows where you just hit Control A.
So the one question I was going to ask you is, you were talking about making sure that the ISO was set at 100. But when I did that last night on taking the pictures, the shutter speed had to be like 3 seconds. So if I had gone to like 200,
What drone?
Air 2S.
Was it a very dark location or was it bright? Bright night.
It was dark, really dark in the beginning, and then it got bright at the end.
No, I mean where you were filming. Was there lots of buildings and roads, or was it just roads, or was there buildings to help provide light? Like what kind of scenery was it?
It was just dark, like landscape stuff, and then at the end, the bridge was really well lit up.
Yes, yeah. So when you're doing hyperlapses at night, you want to go where there's bridges, where there's buildings, where there's roads and traffic. Otherwise, you'll get nothing but darkness. Right? So yeah, so that's why the end part would look good. And it's kind of weird. Sometimes I suggest to people go and do your night hyperlapse first and then come back in the day, right? If you can, because what looks good in the day might not look good in the night. Right? But what looks good at night will definitely look good in the day. Right? So yeah, so again, hyperlapses look for areas where there's highways, there are cars moving, there's buildings, preferably. If there's no buildings, at least look for something with roads and lights, because if you have no lights, you're going to get a really, really dark image. Yeah, so the golden rule is you want to stay at 100, but if you can't, it's not the end of the world. You can go to ISO 200. It's not a big deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, X, is this, I know it's recorded, but will we have access to rewatch this? The video, this Zoom video?
Yes. Yes, I will post this. It is recording right now. And as soon as the video is done, it will format it, and then I'll upload it to a shared link, and I'll share it on Patreon. So you just click on it on Patreon to watch it.
Cool, thank you.
No problem.
Thanks for your patience too.
Yeah, no problem. I teach for a living, so I'm used to this. All right, so here we are. We have the night stuff in. Again, you can drag it down on the bottom, or you can hit append to end. I'm going to go append to end, right? And there is my night image looking very dark and very dull. So I like to edit at the brightest part of the image. So as I'm clicking through, I'm looking for the brightest. That's not the brightest part of the image. The beginning looks okay, kind of bright, but I'm going with here. I think like around here is the brightest part of the image, right? And we're going to pretty much try to follow the same process that we did before, which is first we come over to the edit tab over here. We want to edit first. Boom. So we come over to the edit, and that brings up all the primaries and everything for you. Again, if you have a LUT, now would be a good time to use a LUT. If you don't have a LUT, then that's fine. But I'm going to come over to LUTs just to show you. I have LUTs here, DFX, night LUTs. I have certain LUTs specifically that will just make the image pop. But if you don't have LUTs, then that's fine, to give you certain colors and looks and bring the colors to life, then that's okay. Okay. We'll edit it ourselves. So forget the LUTs. We'll take that off. And we'll edit it ourselves. So the same process I'm going with here. The first thing that I'm going to try to do is brighten up the image as bright as possible. I'm going with the shadows. See the shadows, but look what the shadows is doing to the sky. See, all of this is getting grained out. The sky looks that, and look, I mean, so what if the sky is not pitch black dark? Who cares, right? Who really cares? But you can see the grain in the sky over here. It's grainy, grainy, grainy. But you know what? I don't care. I'm shooting. I want the ground to be as bright as possible. So I'm going for it. I'm shooting for it. But what I'm also going to do is take down my highlights. You're probably saying, yeah, highlights are good in the night, right? Why take it down? Because look at this light. The light here where my dropper is, it's spoiled. It's destroyed the image, right? The light's too bright, but by me taking the highlights down, the light looks more realistic, right? Doesn't look like a blotch of light. It looks more like a stream of light. So I always like to bring my highlights down, right? Again, you can play with things like the offset, crank it up, but look what the offset's gonna do to the sky. It's bringing out the ground. Look, the offset, all the areas here are dark. I can bring up the offset. And now I can see a little bit more between here and stuff, but be careful. It's going to make your sky very grainy. I don't care. I'll take a little bit of grain in the sky. Go to your contrast, same with the tools that you were using. And adding more contrast will make the sky look a lot darker and richer, but look what it does to the ground. It just, there's no details in the ground, right? You can only expect so much. It's nighttime, right? So, I mean, you take whatever you get. I'll zero my contrast back and I will not add any contrast because when I add the contrast, I can't even see the lake here. The lake's gone. But if I zero out back my contrast, look, I can see the lake here now, right? So I don't want to lose the lake. I want to get all those things in it. If anything, I'll try to take out contrast. But when you take out the contrast, look at the sky. When I go negative on the contrast or I go a little less than 1, look at the sky. The sky gets really, 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 really grainy. Really grainy. But you know what? I'm going to live with that. I'm going to live with it. And I'll show you why. Because I will remove all of the green from the sky in a little bit. So I'm just looking for a nice, bright, pleasing image. I'll play it a little bit. And do you see, oh, somebody was asking me earlier about if we can preview the image before adding stabilization, right? I don't know, can't remember who it was. Somebody was asking me earlier. Look, I am playing the image without stabilization. See how it's shaking there? See that? That's without stabilization. The whole image is rocky, rocky, jerky, jerky. So yeah, the stabilization does make a huge difference. Right, David, I'm just gonna mute you. You can unmute when you want to talk because there's a lot of background noise coming in. So just unmute whenever you want to say anything. But do you guys see it? Who was asking me before about the
That was me, Curtis. So
yeah,
so
Curtis.
in this instance, you zoom first, right? And then do the stabilization and do
No,
right?
I'm saying in this instance, you want to see how it looks before you added the stabilization. Well, here it is. It's jerky, right? You can zoom before, but it's still gonna look jerky.
Okay,
Yeah,
got it. Thank you.
yeah, yep. So here we go. I'm going to stop this now and I'll go back to the part where I was before, somewhere around here. There you go. Good. So now I'm gonna add a little bit of saturation just to punch things up. But in the night, generally the image, the DNG files look decently saturated. So I'm not going to saturate all the way to 75 like I did in the day. I'm just going to saturate a little bit just to bring the colors up. Man, 62 is even too much. There's too much green in there. I'm going to go up to 64, somewhere around there. That looks good enough for me. You can add the mid-tone details here and sharpen up the image as well. But just bear in mind, that's going to make the image look even more grainy. Look at the sky. The sky looks even more grainy. If I take off the detail now, look at the sky, less grainy. Crank up the detail. Yes, the ground looks more detailed, but the sky is all grained out because it's just over sharp. It looks like somebody sprinkled salt in the sky. So I'm going to take that off and just touch it up a little bit, just a little bit, just to get the details going a little bit. Maybe like 30 or 40. There you go. That's good enough for me. It's good. I always like to play with my temperature. Cool, warm, cool, warm. Now that's too warm. That's too cool. I zero it back. I actually going for a little bit of the warmer side. No, I'm going cooler because the reason I'm going cooler is because look at the sky. I don't like that orange in the sky. When it's zeroed out, it's the sky is still blue, but if I push to the left and go a little cooler, look, the sky gets even bluer. And I like that. I like the sky to look blue. Yes, it's not natural, but I prefer the sky to look blue instead of that teal, grainy, light blue. No, so I'm going to push it a little bit to the left and blue out the sky a little bit. And that's going to help to make things look kind of cool. Right? Now, again, I'm going to come to this wheel here, the spider web. This is one of my favorite tools over here. And I just have a problem with the road. You see how the road has this greenness to it? That really bothers me. I like the road to be gray, not green and blue, and the road's got too much green in it. So I'll click on the road over there with my dropper. Again, you don't have to do this. It takes a lot of resources. And look, the road just got gray. Look at the road there. See? So if I reset it, look at the road. Look at the road. Look, it's gonna go green and blue again. Bang. The green light's spilling off into the road. And that is annoying me. So I click on my dropper and pull it back towards the white point in the center. Boom. Not too much. There goes my road. My road's got a nice silver color. And to me in the night, when the road has that gray look, it highlights the image even more. And then I hit play. There you go. The road looks nice and gray. The sky is nice and blue. Unrealistic, but cool looking in my opinion. And there you go. Some people say, okay, maybe this orange is too much. You can take out some of the orange. Just click on the orange as well. It highlights the orange in there. And you can bring the orange back if you want, or shift the color, make it a lighter orange, or make it, you know, whatever color you want. This tool gives you a nice option. I'm going to try that. I like the orange, me personally, so I'm going to leave it right there. That looks good to me. All right. That's pretty much it for my night video. I'll play it back. Make sure it looks good. See how bright, nice and bright it is. Come back over here. I can come back to my primaries, and I can always tweak more things like the offset if I want it to be even brighter. Raise the offset, but no, my offset looks good. I'll leave it. Maybe play with the gain. Oh, the gain is definitely destroying the sky. Look at that sky. I can see so much green in the sky. So I'm not going to play with the gain. Gain is like ISO. It's very similar to your ISO. Gamma looks good. It's kind of lifting the whole image up. And play that back and see. I'm going to leave the gamma at 0.03. See, I didn't change much, just 0.03, but sometimes the little things is what can make a big difference. And I'll touch up on the lift a little bit as I'm here. That's definitely not looking good. Not looking good. I'm going to reset the lift and leave it just the way it is. Right? I'm done coloring. I'm done editing this image. I'm done sharpening it up. I've done playing with the temperature and the tint and all that fun stuff. I've saturated it. I've done all that I want to do with it. Now I come back to my edit tab and I'm going to stabilize it. I come down to stabilize. All my settings in standard, of course, under stabilize. Open that up. All my settings standard. Click on the image and then hit stabilize. Boom. There is your stabilization. And then you come back up to zoom. Under transform, you come to your zoom and you just zoom in enough to the point where it there we go. You just zoom into the point where the black bars on the left and the right are gone. Go, 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 go. Right? And then I'm coming back to my y-axis under position because that's definitely focused too much on the ground. I do want a little bit of the sky, so I will bring it up to the buildings, but not too much because black bars means it's just not in the frame. Boom. There you go. Play back. Nope, let me see. There you go. Nothing clipping out of the top. Looks good. Mine is still rendering apparently. Looks good. Looks good. Now, what I don't like about this image, I feel like the highlights can go down some more. The lights are a little bit too bright on the ground for me, right? So if I had a choice, I would drop the highlights a little bit. But when I come back over to the edit tab, and drop the highlights a little bit. There you go. I'll bring the highlights all the way down. See, it's not as bright around here. It's more subtle like that. Final touches. Looks good. Now, yeah, you're probably saying, oh my gosh, look at that sky. It looks like a bunch of grain. Just looks grainy as heck. We'll fix that, but we'll fix that later. So that's it. I'm done editing the night footage. I've zoomed in. I've adjusted my y-axis. I've stabilized. I'm going to come to the export tab. I'll close out this old one that's completed. And I'll start writing the new one, which is, it says day. I'll switch it to night. So it has a different name. It's going to save it the same place. You don't have to click on this again. It'll save it the same place that it saved the day. Come over to audio, make sure audio is off, video settings, everything should be the same. And check this box if you have hardware acceleration. If not, it is what it is. Click add to render queue and just hit render all. There you go. It's done. Come back to my edit tab. Now, what I'm going to do is come to file and create a new timeline, because this new timeline now is going to be for my day and my night, where I will combine both. So I come over here and I click new timeline and I name it day to night. So make sure you check off here, use project settings so it stays the same, and hit create. Boom. So this is a completely new timeline. I'm going to import both the new daytime as well as the new nighttime files. So I have it saved under Hyperlapse, roughs. I have day mini 3 first cut and night mini 3 first cut. That is the two files right there that I'm looking for. And I will open them out. They are no longer photos, they are videos. I'll drag the day down first because we usually start in the day. And then the night, I'll put it on top of the day. There you go. Now, Why is my night longer than my day? Because I just didn't bother to do, right? If you look at the night at the top, it's longer than the day. And that's because I cut the hyperlapse short. I cut it short because I know that the day will only take up half and night will only take up half. So there's no reason for me to film the entire day. So, I mean, I just did it to save some time, but had I let it finish the hyperlapse, both files would have matched up perfectly. Right? Now, if I hit play, obviously it's going to play the file that's on top, which is your nighttime hyperlapse. So what I like to do is scroll somewhere here and say, along this, let's pretend all of this is day. When do I want to switch to the night? When do I want to switch to the night? Somewhere right here, right there, right? I'm on the night, highlight the night, and then hit cut and cut. See the box here? And then just delete that part of the night. Just this first part of the night. Boom. So what's left now is at the bottom, which is day. And as it goes from day, it's not going to transition. You'll see it's just going to jump to night. And that's kind of harsh. We don't want it to go from day and jump straight into the night. That looks kind of weird and harsh. So what we'll do is come up right here where the two meet and cut that. And we will eliminate this one, which is the day. And now I can bring the day and the night down. Play it back. Looks good, but a rough jump, right? From day into night. So what do? I come over here to the effects tab. This is where you come to effects. Next to media pool, effects. Click on that. And then you're looking in the menu here for video transitions. Video transitions. This one looks good, addictive dissolve. As you scroll over it, you can kind of see how it will go from day to night as you dissolve. What about blur dissolve? How will that look from day to night? Cross dissolve, how will that look from day to night? Dip, this messes with dips into the color. No, that's not subtle. Non-addictive, this looks good. See how this blends? I like this, the non-addictive. Smooth cut. No, I do not like the smooth cut. So I'm going with non-addictive. So I just hold down non-addictive and drag it between these two. Drag it right between these two. Now it will set its width at a standard point. To me, this is not wide enough. So I'll just highlight it. Don't highlight the file. Don't highlight the night file. Highlight the actual transition. And then drag it wider. What that's going to do is make the change from day to night more smooth. Right? So I'll test it out. There we go. Right? If you want, drag it out more and it'll be even more subtle. A little too much for me. I'll bring it in. That's the sweet spot. Right? So that's my transition from day to night. I'll come back at the media pool now. And my last, well, second to last step is bring in music. Why didn't I bring in the music before? Because they were photos in a video format. Now that I have exported both photos into a video format, it will take the audio files. So hopefully you have music stored somewhere on your computer I always download music from here. YouTube, free audio library, right? YouTube has a free audio library that you can go to and download all types of music and sound effects. The sound effects are not that good, but the music is great. And you can click the search here and choose via mood, via track, via whatever you want. I usually go with something dramatic. That's usually my choice. And then I'll hit apply and I'll play through. Can you guys hear the sound of the music playing? Did you
No.
hear it? No? Okay. I know how to fix that. Just give me a sec. Start sharing. Up to my share sound. Share. What? Password? What? What password? Now we're back here. It should allow sound now. And then I'll play the music. You just come hit the play button. You can hear now.
Yes, hear it.
I can hear it.
I like that one. I'm gonna hit download. And it asks you when you hit download to select where you want it to go. I usually go to where my Hyperlapse is. That's where my Hyperlapse files are, and I usually save it there so I can find it easily. There you go. That should be downloaded. Come back to DaVinci. Hyperlapse. Roughs. There is March of the Moon. Right now, obviously, I spent a little bit more time going through my music and all kinds of stuff to make sure I get what I want. I'm just gonna play it. All right, let's drag it under. See how it sounds. The Hyperlapse. Way decent. Of course, the music is too long, so I'll have to cut it, delete it. And if you zoom in on the music here, there's a little bar. You can push this. This helps the music to fade out when you pull that slider. And you can also pull a slider for the video as well and cause the video to fade out. So when I play it back now, everything kind of fades out. It's not abrupt. Play back one more time. All right, now I have one problem with this night footage, and that's the grade. Now, on two unfortunates here. Number one, if you're using the free version of DaVinci, you cannot remove the noise. That part of the program is only in the paid version. The second bummer is you better have a really good computer or laptop, because noise reduction takes a lot out of a computer. Either which way, I'll show you. So I come over to my color again, and I'm looking for this motion effects. Right here on the motion effects, motion blur. No, I do not want any motion blur, so I'm clicking no. Enhanced, large. I usually go with 3 frames. 3 frames, every 3 frames is good enough, right? I do not go faster. I always opt for better, large. Motion range in all the large areas. Now, when you push this Luma up, that will clear up the sky. It will clear up the grain in the sky. So here I go. Look at me push the Luma. Look at the sky, clean. I can push it to 100. It basically takes all the grain away and smoothens up the sky. But the problem with noise reduction is it just doesn't only smooth the sky. It smooths the entire image. And some parts of the image you don't want smooth out, right? Because it looks soft. So finding a good balance between the sky not being smooth, super smooth like this, but the image looking very soft, all the cars and the roads, everything look very soft. You want a nice balance, right? So I'm gonna go somewhere in the 30s, in the 30s looks good. Now, even if you have the paid version of DaVinci, but you don't have a really fast computer, this can crash your computer. Noise reduction can crash your computer, which is why I usually save it for last. Even the most powerful computers will take some time to edit anything that has noise reduction. So just bear that in mind. So now that I've smoothened up the sky and I've taken out all the grain, I doubt this will play back. There you go. It looks good. Sky is smooth. That's the last piece. I always like to save just in case it crashes. There you go. And that's it. I'm ready to export. So I come to my export and I will rename it Mini 3 Day to Night Flushing Hyperlapse. I'll select where I want it to go because I usually put my finished products here in a file called transport. So that way I can save them on my external hard drive, or I can upload them to a cloud. So yeah, but for the purpose of this video, I will save it right where I have saved all my hyperlapses in roughs and hit save. Now, make sure that when you come to audio, you check it off. That's the difference this time. If you don't check off audio, yeah, video, come to audio and make sure that you check this box. Otherwise, before we didn't check the box because we had no audio, but now that we've added music, we want the music to be embedded in the final video. Come over to video here, audio, video, 25 FPS quality. Yep, that's pretty much it. Same settings, same everything. We just enable the audio, make sure the 4K resolution, and hit add to render queue. Now this can take some time, so a really long time sometimes, because this one has noise reduction in it. So I'm going to render out. See how long this takes. Today shouldn't be a problem. Transitions do take a little bit of time too. It's almost done. Now the final product, I will play it on my computer itself. I will not play it day to night. This is the final product. you go. You got a day tonight hyperlapse. Now, if you can take more than 300 photos, because the longer the hyperlapse, the better it'll be, especially if you're blending from day to night. And these shots, nothing spectacular. I ran out and shot it. I shot one like the daytime. I shot that like half an hour before the class started, and then nighttime I did it like last night or something.
So you're saying that this whole class will be a recording that we can get?
Yes. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Yes, everything is being recorded until I hit stop. Yep.
So then to get the recording, how do you get the recording?
I'll put it up on Zoom, not Zoom, Patreon. I'll put it up on
Okay.
Patreon tonight. Yep.
Okay.
So,
And then
yeah,
you said you're going to send out a message when your LUTs are ready?
yes, I will send out a message as soon as my LUTs are ready. And you'll
Okay.
see it in a video. You'll see it in my YouTube video.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I had a couple of questions.
Sure.
Do you use auto white balance at night, or you just pick a Kelvin temperature and shoot?
I pick a Kelvin that's more to the left, which is cooler. I like cooler white balance at night, somewhere anywhere between 3200 to 4800, depending on the drone, whichever one looks nicer to me, but that's usually where I hover. Daytime, I'm fixed at 5600. There's no compromise for me in the day.
Oh, during the day, you're 60 or 6600?
56, 5600.
Okay, okay. A couple of questions on the shutter speeds at night. What kind of blur do you like? You like try to get 1 second exposures?
No, my shutter at night, I usually aim for 1/1.6. That's my go-to shutter, 1/1.6. I'll deviate a little bit brighter or a little bit darker, maybe 1 or 2 stops on the shutter. If I'm in a really bright area or a really dark area, but that's where I start from, 1/1.6.
And then on the intervals, when you set up your hyperlapse, do you have 2 second, 3 second, 4 second intervals for the blur?
For the photos, I go, if at night, either 3 or 4 seconds. If it's a really long hyperlapse, I'll go 4 seconds. If it's a normal hyperlapse, 3 seconds. Because usually the camera will not allow you to take 2 seconds. Because when you go at that 1/1.6, it's almost a 2 second shutter. So the shutter will stay open for almost 2 seconds. So the minimal the drone will allow you is 3 or 4 or 5 or anything higher. But I like to stay around 3 or 4.
A couple other questions. When I tried to import my night raw files that came in individually, then I went back and used a different version that came in as a video. Do you know what triggers them coming in as individual raw pictures versus coming into DaVinci as a video?
Yes, if you come over here to your media section.
Yeah, I can't see your screen.
Oh, let me share the screen again. Yeah, if you come over here to the media, which is the first one, and you see these 3 dots here.
Yes.
Right, it says frame display mode. When you leave it in auto, there's a chance it comes in as photos or it may come in as a video. If you put it as sequence, then it will always come in as a video.
Okay, thank you. Very good. guess I'm trying to use that non-additive dissolve. Does it have to, you have to trigger the rendering, or does it just render in the background?
It depends on your settings.
My
your-
file name's in red.
Your file name? What do you mean, the file name?
My day-night hyperlapse.
Oh,
it's in
oh,
red.
here where it says edited?
I'm in edit, yes.
Yeah, hit no, then you have to trigger it, hit file and then save project. It's gonna go back to white.
File, save project.
Yeah. It's gonna go back to white.
Yeah, in my timeline, my selector, my arrow selector is red. And then in the editing window top right, like I said, the file name's still in red.
When you say the file name, what do you mean?
Right there where it says day and night above the pond, yeah.
It's in red?
Yeah.
I'm not sure why it's in red. It shouldn't be in red.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it playing back though? It's probably rendering.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like the dissolve is working properly, so I think it's a rendering issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, I'll work
What,
on it.
yeah, what laptop are you running?
The iMac, so it should be pretty strong.
Yeah. Probably
Yeah, but it's been very instructive. Thanks so much for your patience and going through all the tips. Really appreciate it.
no problem. Anyone else has any other questions?
No, thank you very much, though.
Yeah, I wanted to make a comment that I just wanted to say that I also appreciate it. I appreciate all you guys actually for bearing in with me. You know what I mean? I was kind of lost. All the settings were on the bottom of the screen instead of the top. I don't know how that happened, but like all the different tabs were all below. But so anyway, I thank you guys very much, all of you.
No problem.
Yeah, thank you very much for this. This has been great.
Yes.
No
Thank you,
problem.
brother. That was terrific. Thank you.
I know towards the end was a little fast in the essence of time, but I will post it on Patreon so you guys can take your time and go through it. Right? If you have any other questions, always hit me up on Patreon. And if you guys want me to schedule another one where you go out and shoot and we can move at a little faster pace because you're a little more familiar now, we can do that as well. Right?
Cool. Most definitely. Hey, thanks for all your
Thank
time.
you.
Thank
No
you.
problem, guys.
Love the good
Really
work.
Have a good
appreciate
night.
it.
Enjoy your Labor Day weekend for those of you in the
You
United
too.
States.
All the
Right?
best.
And now we'll talk to you guys later.
Hey, have a great one, Xavier. Thank you.
Bye.
Take care, everyone. A great weekend.
You too.
Well.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night, everyone.